Okay, I actually had some extra time before a meeting, so I thought I would get you this feedback. I know you're on spring break, so please take a break. But if this helps you to get this done over the break, I totally get that. I do a lot of things that way too, and then I take my free time later. So I hope you're doing well and having a good semester with your other classes. Okay, so your description of the class is good. The students will be grouped in small activities groups. Um, okay, that sounds fine for now. I'm not quite sure. Um, I guess a question I would have is that I don't understand how all the children are doing the same activity at the same time. Um, I don't know if you mean that this will be a center that they come to in small groups. So if you could clarify that, I think it would be good. You're saying small groups here and not centers because the directions are describe how they will be grouped, and you're not saying centers. And I'm always curious as to how it works in a classroom when all children are doing the same activity in small groups at the same time, because it shouldn't, I wouldn't imagine there would be enough supervision for that, but you'd have to have an adult at every table. But anyway, just look at that and clarify it. Students will match the letters of their name. Um, okay, all right. Students will manipulate foam letter, place the letters in order to spell their name. Okay, so what kind of instruction has come before this? You would want to put that in context and proficiencies, but mainly I have a question about it because I don't know if they already know how to spell their names and you're just checking it off to see if they can. I don't know how you can expect that they will know how to spell their names. I guess that's a question for me. Will there be a card on the table with their names so they can match them? And do the foam letters look enough like the letters on the card that they'll actually be able to see that it's the same letter? And what instruction have they already had? You should eliminate a lot of these objectives if you just want them to match the letters of their name with the foam letter. Then you don't need understanding of the alphabet and all of that. You need to take that off, because just because you can match your name letters to each other does not mean you understand the alphabet. It doesn't mean anything. It's nothing to do with phonemic and phonological awareness, unless you're going to do sounds with them while they match the letters. So you have to decide, are you just wanting to do letter recognition, or are you wanting them to know certain sounds? Because you can't have them in the same place here in terms of what the objectives are. Remember, your objectives are what you're going to actually measure and see, as it says here. So you will not be able to observe and measure all of this in this activity. So just choose one thing. And your standards here, I would say you have to choose one of these. This is not anything to do with writing. You're not having them write anything. You have to decide, are you going to do sounds or are you going to do letter recognition, basically. You don't want to do both in one lesson. Just be careful with that, because remember, you have to see what are you going to assess. So when you assess their knowledge of the alphabet, I'm not sure what that means. Do you mean the sounds that the letters make, or just can they recognize the letters? And so you need to be really clear about them. I also don't know. First, you're having them match the letters, and then now you're asking them to say the letters. You can't, and see if they recognize. So this is an assessment of something different. You're asking, can they say the letter in their name? Can they recognize it? And up above, you're having them match it. So one is a visual representation. They're matching the two shapes, an A and an A, or a B and a B. Here, you're asking them to say the name of the letter. So I'm not sure which. Do you want to assess whether they can match them correctly visually, or do you want to assess whether they can say the letter? So you've got really two different things going on here. So you've got to decide which one you want to do, and then instead of saying the letter, you would just check off whether they matched it or not, and that would be it. I would suggest you change it to that, but it's up to you. It's your lesson. Okay. Okay, I'm not sure when the students are using the smart board, so I'll look at the procedures for that. I'm a little confused about what they're doing with construction paper and bags and all of that, because I guess you mean the bags for the letters. So, okay. I'm not sure what they're doing with paper and pencil, because I thought you were just matching their letters in their name. So we'll see. Yeah, I would recommend you really rethink how you're introducing this. Singing the alphabet song is fine, but it really doesn't have anything to do with alphabet recognition. And doing something in a whole group with whether they can say the first letter of their name, I don't know. I don't know about that. Let's think about that. I'm not sure how it's related to what you're doing. You're dividing into small groups. They have a bag with their name card. Once they receive the bag, I ask them to state the letter. So are you doing this all at the same time with all the students in the class? It's a little confusing to me. Yeah, I would say let's stop here and try to determine whether what you're doing here. Is this a center where the students will come and you'll do this, or let me see if I can. Each student will be divided into so I don't really understand how this is going to happen with all the children at the same time. I can't imagine, unless they already know how to do this and you're sure of that. Anyway, this sounds like a lesson for a group of much older children. Even in kindergarten, having them do this all at the same time, I've not experienced that or seen that happen. Maybe it does and I just don't know, but I don't recommend that you do this way. I recommend you make it a center where they come and work with you, if this is what you want to do. So anyway, yeah, I think you can do all these things that you're saying here in modeling and demonstration. You can do all that if you're at a center, but honestly, all of this you can't do for all the students at the same time at the tables. It's a little confusing. So why don't you go back and see if changing this to you being a center instead of thinking of this as something you start with a whole group, then go to all these small group at the table. Try doing that and see if that helps. Just rethink it that way. And again, make a decision about whether you're going to assess them saying the letters in their name or matching them. That's two different skills. So, okay. All right. I hope this helps. Lots of, just make some choices there about that and redo it that way, and you can resubmit it as many times as you need to. That's no problem. I just want you to better understand, how to write these out.